trip to Copenhagen, Denmark? In this video, you'll find the 25 things you'll need to know before visiting Denmark's capital city. Copenhagen is an incredible city that we definitely recommend visiting. The city is easy to navigate and has so much to do in a compact area. It's an awesome destination for your next European vacation. However, that doesn't mean that everything about visiting Copenhagen is easy. We're here to provide the best tips to help you get ready for a seamless visit. We learned a lot from our time in Copenhagen and can help you avoid making the mistakes that we made. Before we get started, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more travel content and tips. Let's check out 25 awesome tips to know before visiting Copenhagen. Number 1, visit during the shoulder season. Summer has the best weather, but it's also the busiest and most expensive time of year to visit Copenhagen. The winter might be the cheapest time for a vacation here, but it's also very cold. And since you're so far north, there are limited daylight hours. Also, outside of the holiday season, some attractions are closed during the winter. We visited in October, the shoulder season, and thought it was a great in-between. The weather was mild for Scandinavia, there were ample daylight hours for exploring, and the city wasn't too crowded. We believe that the shoulder season, which is the spring and fall, is the best time to visit Copenhagen for the first time. Most attractions will be open, but without the major crowds, especially since cruise ship crowds are usually during the peak season. It'll be easier to enjoy attractions and make restaurant reservations. The shoulder season also offers better deals than in the summer. We found hotels and airfare to be much more reasonable, which are usually the biggest expenses for a trip. If you aren't limited on when you can visit, it's a good idea to play around with dates to find the best deals. Number 2, Copenhagen is expensive. Copenhagen is not a cheap city to visit, especially when it comes to accommodation, food, alcohol, and shopping. We already mentioned that traveling outside the peak summer season is a great way to save money. Just note that Copenhagen is an expensive city to visit overall, especially when compared to a lot of Europe. For example, even a carafe of tap water at restaurants costs money. Basically, Copenhagen is more expensive than a lot of other destinations, but you can budget for it or embrace it. If you're looking to do Copenhagen on a budget, many of our tips in this video will help you save money. If you're looking for a luxury trip to Copenhagen, there are many ways to splurge in the city. Hotel d'Angleterre is a well-regarded 5-star hotel located in Kongens Nytorv, a prime spot for city exploration. Additionally, Copenhagen is home to many Michelin star restaurants, specifically that highlight new Nordic cuisine. And there are also plenty of great places for a shopping spree, whether you're looking for international brands, department stores, Danish style, or Danish design for home decor. Number 3, get the Copenhagen card. We just talked about how expensive Copenhagen can be. One of the best ways to save money is by getting the Copenhagen card. The best value depends on how long you're in the city for and how much you plan to do. The card can be used for 24 hours and goes up to 120 hours. The Copenhagen card is the best way to visit the city's attractions at a discounted price. Many of the most popular attractions are featured, including Rosenborg Slot, the Christianborg Slot Royal Reception Rooms, the Glyptotek, the National Museum, Canal cruises, entrance to Tivoli Gardens, and so much more. Also, the Copenhagen card includes public transportation, such as the metro, buses, commuter trains, and harbor buses. Take advantage of this by avoiding the use of taxis and ride-sharing apps. Additionally, there's a different Copenhagen card that is specifically for hop-on and hop-off buses and doesn't include public transport. Number 4, don't eat in Nyhavn. Nyhavn is one of the most beautiful and one of the most expensive parts of the city. Unfortunately, the restaurants charge a premium for the incredible view. However, it may be worth it to you to eat at a restaurant here once. We decided to eat in Nyhavn once just to enjoy the site, and the restaurant we chose was Judy. The food was very good at Judy, which is located inside of a boat in Nyhavn. However, we couldn't justify the price we paid for just small boiled water and coffee. We even looked up prices for many of the other restaurants that line Nyhavn's cobblestone promenade. Most were even more expensive than Judy. It became a running joke with us anytime we ate out in Denmark. Well, at least it's cheaper than Judy. Spend some time sitting by the canal and take your time strolling around Nyhavn, but then head away from here to grab a bite to eat. Number 5, take a canal cruise on day 1. Taking a canal cruise was one of our favorite activities in Copenhagen, and it's the best way to learn about the city. We'd prioritize this on your first day because it's one of the best ways to learn your way around. The Stroma Canal cruise we took was included with the Copenhagen card, and it provided so much value to use. It started at Vendstranden 26 and went by many popular tourist attractions. It also went through the beautiful Christian town neighborhood. We chose to go in the morning on our first day to help us get acclimated to the city. We also didn't need to make a reservation in advance in October. However, we'd recommend looking into reservations if you're traveling during the peak season or if you have a lot of people in your group. Make sure to take note of all the cool places you go by so you can visit after the Canal cruise. Number 6, take the metro into the city from the airport. Taxis are very expensive in Copenhagen and not worth the hefty price tag. Sometimes we fly into an airport that is so far outside the city that we prefer a cab, especially with jet lag, especially if we would have to take more than one form of transportation or change trains. However, Copenhagen's airport is very close to the city center and the metro is easy and inexpensive. Once you arrive at the airport, look for signs to the metro. You'll then purchase your tickets at a machine and follow signs to the platform to board the M2 line. For those staying in the city center, the Kongens Nytorv stop is very convenient to get off at and is next to many hotels. The metro ride to the city center from the airport is only about 15 minutes and trains come often at peak hours. There are many other stops along the M2 line. Make sure to plan ahead to find a stop not too far away from where you're staying. Number 7, try Denmark's most popular dishes. Unless you've traveled to Denmark before, you probably don't know much about Danish food. We didn't before planning our trip to Denmark. A very popular dish you'll find is smørrebrød. Smørrebrød is an open-faced sandwich on rye bread with a variety of toppings. They're sold all over the city. The best thing about this dish is there are so many choices, from meat to seafood to vegetarian options. Another Danish dish you need to try is stegflæsk. Stegflæsk is a fried pork belly served with roasted potatoes and a creamy parsley sauce. Just a tip for ordering this dish, some restaurants only serve it a couple days a week. Make sure to do your research because you won't want to miss trying the national dish of Denmark. Lastly, you cannot skip the sweets here. Denmark has amazing pastries as well as chocolate-covered meringue filling on a cookie called flødeboller. Visit bakeries to try the many sweet treats, and don't forget to stop into a spot for flødeboller. Number 8. Find food on a budget. We mentioned that Copenhagen is an expensive city, especially for dining out. Thankfully, you can still eat well on a budget. We found a few options to save money on food in Copenhagen. Hot dog stands are an easy and quick lunch for a busy day of sightseeing. Hot dogs are very popular in Copenhagen and can be found at stands all across the city and near popular tourist attractions. We ate at a hot dog stand in Hosbro Square and found it to be pretty good for the price and quite filling. The ironic aspect of this is the stand was in an upscale area, so we found ourselves eating a hot dog just outside of an Hermes. Another option to check out is Copenhagen's 2 street food markets, Brøns and Reffen. We visited Brøns, an outdoor street food market located right along the water by the Inner Harbor Bridge. The market had great food options and plenty of seating. We didn't get a chance to try Reffen, but it's on our list for our next visit. Tor and Hollowen KBH isn't quite as budget-friendly as Brøns or Reffen, but you can find better deals on food like smørrebrød than at many sit-down restaurants. There's also a ton of options to try, from full meals to snacks to pastries. You can easily find some good deals here. Additionally, if you want to go to a sit-down restaurant, some restaurants are more expensive at dinner time than at lunchtime. Consider having your larger meal at lunchtime. Number 9, make dinner reservations. A lot of restaurants in Copenhagen require a reservation, especially on the weekends. Plan ahead and make dinner reservations in advance, especially if there's a specific spot that you want to try. For weeknights, it really depends on where you're going. We only made one weeknight reservation, which we needed because the restaurant we wanted to try was small. Also, make sure to check if you're visiting on a holiday or during an important event. You'll definitely want to make reservations in advance. We didn't know how big culture night was before visiting. We'll talk more about this specific day later in this video, but we tried to go out to eat that night and almost every restaurant was full. We found a restaurant with seating available on an outdoor patio in 45-degree weather. The heater above helped a bit, but it was still cold. Don't make the same mistake we made and make reservations in advance. Number 10. Learn about Denmark's royal history. Danish royal history is not as well known as other monarchies. Usually when you think of a monarchy, the United Kingdom comes to mind. However, Denmark is currently a constitutional monarchy, and a lot of the things to do, as well as a lot of history, has to do with the royal family. Many of Copenhagen's best sites are its castles and palaces. Make sure you visit some of the royal sites, including Rosenborg Slot, Christiansborg Slot, and Amalienborg Slot in the city, as well as Frederiksborg Slot just outside of Copenhagen. They are worth visiting for their beauty and opulence. You can learn so much about Denmark over the years by seeing these castles and palaces. Royal life is also included in how things are named. Even without visiting specific royal sites, you'll see royal influence everywhere. Kongens Nytorv Plaza literally means the king's new square. Additionally, a lot of places are named after past kings, which have typically been named Christian and Frederick. Make sure to do a little bit of research before visiting Copenhagen because it's an important part of the city's past and present. Number 11, learn a few words of Danish. Danish is a tough language, especially if you don't have a background in it or another Scandinavian language. But regardless of which language or languages you speak, it's always polite to say a few words in Danish. Saying hello and thank you can go a long way. Hello is hej, spelled H-E-J, and thank you is tak, We recommend practicing a few keywords and phrases just before visiting. If you take a guidebook with you like we do, then there should be a small vocabulary section at the back with important words and how to pronounce them. Note that it's very easy to get around Denmark as an English speaker. The overwhelming majority of people we encountered spoke English. Still, it's nice to try to use a little bit of Danish to greet people at stores, restaurants, and at your hotel. 12. Don't skip Tivoli Gardens. Even if your time in Copenhagen is limited, one of the world's oldest amusement parks is a place you won't want to miss. Tivoli Gardens is more than just an amusement park. It's been a part of the city's culture since its opening in 1843. Ride one of the world's oldest roller coasters, Rutsjebanen, a wooden roller coaster that is still operated by a brakeman. Check out some of the other rides as well, which include other roller coasters, flat rides, and leisure activities like taking a small boat out on the pond. If you're not there for rides, there's plenty of restaurants. Tivoli Gardens is a popular spot for locals to grab a bite to eat at the many dining options, from sit-down restaurants to food stands. It's also one of the most beautiful places in the city to walk around. Just going for a stroll and taking it all in is worth the price of admission. Tivoli Gardens should definitely not be missed on your first visit to Copenhagen. Number 13. Drink craft beer. Copenhagen is a city for craft beer lovers. Don't just stick to drinking the well-known Carlsberg brand. Branch out a bit and try some local craft beer. Copenhagen has some awesome spots. We tried 2 different local craft breweries in Copenhagen, Bruce and Mikkeller. Bruce is located in the Nørrebro neighborhood and also has a restaurant. Bruce brews many beers on site and changes the beers on tap often, which means there's always something cool and new to try. Mikkeller is a craft brewery and restaurant with a few different locations in the city. It's an awesome place to try locally brewed beer with Danish cuisine. We tried out the location in Tivoli Gardens and split a fabulous 3-course meal that allowed us to try Danish staples with their beer brewed right on site. You can also check out their locations in the Vesterbro and Nørrebro neighborhoods. If you're not a big craft beer drinker and want to give some a try, don't be afraid to ask for recommendations. We asked for recommendations at both breweries because we wanted to see what was new and what was popular with locals. Their recommendations did not disappoint, and we found some great beers that we might not have found otherwise. Number 14, take a day trip. Copenhagen is incredible, but there's also so much to do nearby for a day trip. For our day trip, we chose to visit Frederiksborg Slot, a beautiful castle located in Hillerød, Denmark. This castle, just north of Copenhagen, was one of the highlights of our trip to Denmark. In fact, we put this as our favorite Danish castle that we saw because of its architectural style, the rooms on display, and its garden. Another castle option nearby Copenhagen is Kronborg Slot, also known as Hamlet's Castle. We didn't get a chance to visit it, but it's on our list for next time. A couple of other options near the city are the Louisiana Museum of Modern Art, Frederiksborg Slot, and the Viking Ship Museum. Number 15, visit Sweden. Copenhagen is very close to Sweden. It's an easy train ride or drive to Sweden's second and third largest cities, Gothenburg and Malmö. Malmö is located just right across the water and can also be a great idea for a day trip option. Or you can spend a few days here to get a feel for the city. We chose to rent a car and drove to Gothenburg, Sweden for a few days. You can also travel by train. We loved Gothenburg, and after a few days there, we already wanted to plan a return visit. Located just a 3-hour drive from Copenhagen, Gothenburg is an underrated city that we hadn't heard too much about. It's a great companion city to Copenhagen because they are close by but feel totally different. For example, Gothenburg's terrain is the complete opposite of Copenhagen's. It's located right on Sweden's rugged coastline, and we absolutely love taking an archipelago cruise to enjoy Sweden's natural beauty. We recommend adding Gothenburg, Sweden to your itinerary, if possible. Number 16, visit the free attractions. Don't miss out on Copenhagen's many amazing free attractions. We already mentioned how expensive things can be and how the Copenhagen card is great for paid attractions, but don't skip out on the many free sites. Some of the best free attractions we recommend visiting are the Botanical Garden, Nyhavn, the Marble Church, and Ørstedparken. They are all completely free and some of the best things you can do in the city. Also, it's free to explore the different neighborhoods. We highly recommend wandering around the Latin Quarter, Christianshavn, and Nørrebro. These neighborhoods are all beautiful and feel so different from one another. Don't forget to also go for strolls along the canals, the harbor front, and around the Copenhagen lakes. There are plenty of awesome free things to do in Copenhagen, and a lot of the ones we mentioned are some of the best things to do for your first visit. Number 17, spend at least 4 days in Copenhagen. Don't rush through a trip to Copenhagen. There's so much to do here that you'll want to have at least 4 days to see the highlights and get a good feel for what the city has to offer. There's a lot of great attractions to visit, places to explore, neighborhoods to visit, foods to try, and events to experience. Don't spend your time rushing from place to place. holidays. Copenhagen is meant to be enjoyed, and part of that is taking your time to savor a meal and see all there is to a specific landmark. 4 days is enough to get a great feel for Copenhagen. However, if you spend more time than that, it just gives you a chance to do even more and take some of the incredible day trips that we mentioned earlier. For those who don't have more time, check out our video on how to spend 2 days in Copenhagen, Denmark. It's a great itinerary for how to make the most of your time without leaving you too exhausted. Number 18, pack an umbrella. Copenhagen gets a good amount of rain, especially during the summer and fall. The rain can also come along without much warning. Make sure you're prepared by traveling with an umbrella. We experienced some rain, and most of the time it didn't pour, it just drizzled. Overall, Copenhagen is a fairly rainy city, and it's best to plan ahead so it won't ruin your trip. It can rain any time of year, even though the city gets the least amount of rain during the spring. We also recommend having a windbreaker or a raincoat with you, just in case you need it. Number 19, learn about Culture Night. Culture Night, or Kulturnatten, is one of the biggest nights of the year in Copenhagen. Culture Night is usually held on the second Friday night in October, which is the official start of fall break. For 125 Danish krone, you can buy the Culture Pass, which offers admission to many different sites in the city. A lot of the sites also offer special events, so you get the most out of your visit. Additionally, the Culture Pass includes public transportation for the evening. On Culture Night, the attractions are open from 6 p.m. to midnight. Most of the city's main attractions and museums participate. Just note that some of them require a reservation in advance. So buy the card before and make a plan for how to spend those 6 hours. Our favorite aspect was visiting the Royal Playhouse and the Old Stage in Kongens Nytorv. We got to explore the beautiful playhouse and watch some incredible performances, including piano recitals and ballet rehearsals. There are many special events to experience that you can't do outside of this one day. Like we mentioned earlier, if you plan to go out to eat on Culture Night, make a reservation in advance because most restaurants will be completely full, especially if you want to avoid being on a patio in 45-degree weather. Number 20. Be mindful of bikes. Bikes are one of the most common forms of transportation in the city. Most streets have specific bike lanes. Make sure to watch out for bikes when crossing the street. We've seen a lot of content talk about how it's amazing to see Copenhagen by bike. We disagree with this advice, unless you're an experienced bike rider and are familiar with Denmark's rules and etiquette. Biking is a convenient form of transportation, and it's fairly easy to rent one. But remember, locals are using bikes to get around their city. It might not always be easy to stop at every attraction or to take your time and go for a leisurely ride around the city center. You'll also be a nuisance if you don't understand proper etiquette and get in the way. We're not saying don't rent a bike, we're saying be mindful of others, prepare ahead of time, and avoid rush hour. Number 21, check out the best viewpoints. There are a few great places to get incredible views of Copenhagen. The two best are the Church of Our Savior and the Round Tower. The Church of Our Savior is located in the Christianshavn neighborhood. We will warn you that this is a bit of a challenge to climb, and be prepared that it's fairly tiring. To reach the top, climb up multiple staircases, including some that are closer to a ladder. Once you reach the outside, there's another small spiral staircase to get to the very top. The views are absolutely stunning on a sunny day. We were exhausted, but the views were worth it, and we spent a bit of time at the top before trekking back down. It was amazing to see Christianshavn area and the Copenhagen harbor from a bird's eye view. This attraction is also included in the Copenhagen card. Our other favorite viewpoint, the Round Tower, is located in the Latin Quarter and is a bit easier to climb compared to the Church of Our Savior. Walk inside the tower and start walking up the cobblestone spiral ramp that takes you to a flat viewing platform. The view from the Round Tower is breathtaking. Look out at the beautiful Latin Quarter and see nearby attractions like Rosenborg Slot. There's also an additional staircase at the viewing platform that takes visitors to the small astronomy observatory. It's worth a look when wandering around. Also note the Round Tower is one of the city's main attractions not included in the Copenhagen card. Number 22. Skip the National Gallery of Denmark. This may be Denmark's largest art museum, however, we felt it was the most overrated attraction in Copenhagen. We believe it's not worth the trek over there and not worth the price of admission. This might sound a little harsh, it's just that this museum didn't offer much for us. We always want to provide our viewers with our honest opinion of an attraction. We're not the biggest fans of modern art, and we really don't enjoy postmodern art. We found a lot of works to be soulless. Our advice is to look up the exhibits in advance and make sure this is a place you'd really want to see before visiting. There are better museums in Copenhagen and Europe that made us feel like this particular place was not worth coming back to. Number 23. Look for happy hour deals. If you want to go out for drinks in Copenhagen, especially on weekdays, try to find a bar with a good happy hour deal. There are cocktail bars in the city that have 2 for the price of 1 drink specials. There are also bars that offer 2 for 1 deals on beers. Do your research if you'd like to go out on a budget. A lot of the places that have specials probably won't be in the city center, so be sure to venture out to other neighborhoods to find some great deals. Also, make sure to look out for operating hours. Some bars are closed on Sundays and on Mondays. This leads us to our next tip. Number 24. Some attractions are closed on Mondays. Some of Copenhagen's most popular attractions are closed on Mondays. If you find yourself in Copenhagen on a Monday, plan ahead because some of the things you might want to do could be closed. Some attractions that are closed on Mondays year-round are the Glyptotek, the Louisiana Museum of Modern Art, the National Gallery of Art, and Design Museum Denmark. Also, some attractions are only open on Mondays for part of the year. Usually this means that these attractions are on hiatus on Mondays during the off-season. Some attractions that are closed on Mondays for part of the year are the Amalienborg Slot Museum, the Natural History Museum of Denmark, the National Museum, the Christianborg Slot Royal Reception Rooms, Rosenborg Slot, and the Palm House. Additionally, like we mentioned before, some bars as well as restaurants could be closed on Mondays. Make sure you look up some places open in advance. Number 25. Plan to visit Copenhagen again. One of the biggest mistakes when traveling is trying to do too much during your time at a destination. Unless you're planning on spending a significant amount of time here, you'll probably have to prioritize. Part of travel is to just enjoy being in the city, then taking your time to see what makes Copenhagen so special. The way to make sure you do this is by saving some things for your next visit. We already have our list of places to visit for our next Copenhagen adventure. It makes the trip special, to leave knowing you got a great feel for the city, and at the same time, can't wait to return. Also, there are things you can only do at certain times of year. While we do recommend a shoulder season visit for your first time, consider trying to see the city at a different time of year for your next visit. We'd love to go back when it's a little bit warmer, but still avoiding July and August. We're thinking May or June, which is going from shoulder season to peak season. Additionally, Copenhagen looks so beautiful during the holiday season. We'd love a chance to visit the Christmas markets across Northern Europe. That's it for the 25 things you need to know before visiting Copenhagen. We hope you enjoyed our tips and found them helpful for planning your trip. Stay tuned for more content about this awesome city, including the best things to do in Copenhagen, Denmark. Have you visited Copenhagen before? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. As always, let's make every trip an adventure to remember.